Hi. Making sure the mic's not muted. As always, am like frantically trying to figure out my life right as we get started. So, what's up, everyone? Hopefully, my headphones are working. I can't tell yet. Hi. Super excited to be here. I was just kind of reading through the comments while we were getting rolling. And I don't want anyone to get their hopes up this evening. So, here we go. I have a little bit of a backstory before we get into today's stream. But I haven't actually really been following this story much at all. So I'm not going to be covering any of the details of the case related to these individuals that we're going to be talking about today. I have linked Julie Joe's videos in the description down below if you are interested in getting up to speed with what's going on. But this came as I was going to call you guys listeners, viewer request to cover this. So I thought I would. And I'm excited to kind of learn together today. Okay, awesome. You guys can hear me. Hopefully I should have tested my headphones before, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. So, anyways, as per usual, thanks for coming, hanging out with me here Monday nights, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. You can let me know what you're drinking this evening. No Diet Coke today. I have a raspberry bubbly. We got the name brand stuff today. It was on sale, full disclosure. So let's get into it. Hello, everyone. Demi, Wee Sweet Goth, Linda, Jason, Lindsay, Mr. Ranger Lab, Lori, Cena. We got Lisa, Danny. Wow, love it. Love to see it. My dog is currently barking, so sorry for that. If you're lucky, he'll make an appearance later. I was running around right before, like literally 3:59 p.m. trying to find my phone charger. It's been here the whole time. Okay, so while I get that set up, you can let me know how your day is going. My Superstore doesn't have the new water flavor. No, you should try Shoppers Drug Mart. I got this at No Frills, but I know when the like coconut pineapple one was a thing, the only place I could find it was Shoppers. So, fun fact for the day. Tea, always tea. Love it. I had my tea earlier. I'm a raspberry tea kind of girl. Or Earl Grey. We love it. Having my dinner and some water. Not Kangen. Good. Love to hear it. Good old tap water for me. Got some right here. Fresh out of the tap. Love that. Okay. So, as I was saying at the beginning of this video, today we're going to be discussing the Jodi Hildebrant, Ruby Franke coaching program situation, Connexions, as they like to call it. And if you missed the disclaimer, I haven't been following this case. I don't know a ton of details about it, so we're not going to be discussing the specifics about the arrest and all of that, other than the one article we're going to read. We're mostly going to be focusing on the coaching aspect. Those of you that don't know me or my channel, I create content primarily debunking the coaching industry, life coaching, spiritual coaching, business coaching, etc. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to stick within our scope of practice, which is something that these ladies don't seem to be doing. So I love that. Okay, my headphones just disconnected, it sounds like. So here we go. Oh no, that's not good. Okay, there we go. Is the sound okay? Did it switch? Hold on. Sorry. Technical difficulties. We're back. Okay. Catching up on the comments, and then we're going to get right into the article. Coffee at this hour? What time is it where you live? You're even like later than me. Oh my God, I would be up all night. I can't drink coffee past 2 p.m. or it is like game over. Okay. Is Pepsi pineapple good? What? Pepsi? There's pineapple Pepsi? Someone fact check this for me. Not where I live. I almost bought they have like the cherry diet Pepsi. But what I really like is they used to make, and I haven't been able to find it since I moved from Ontario, was the double caffeine vanilla Diet Coke. So freaking good, but I have not been able to find it anywhere since I moved like a year ago. Another disclaimer, if anyone like joins the membership during this stream, please tell me because Restream doesn't notify me and then you just get ghosted. So, if you guys in the chat could, do me a favor and tell me when to pay attention, I would appreciate it. Yeah, it comes in like a silver can, but it's different than regular Diet Coke. I'm going to pull up an image on the screen. Hold on. And it would only come in like an 8-pack. It looks like, it's called Diet Coke Extra. I'll pull it up on the screen here. Give me a sec. Like this. It's so freaking good. Toasted vanilla. I can't even explain to you how delicious this stuff is. No, I'm not sponsored by Diet Coke, but I wish I was. And then it also came in like a strawberry guava flavor, which was pretty good. And there was a few different ones, but I would always get the toasted vanilla and it was just chef's kiss. Okay, now that we're done the Diet Coke segment of the stream, as per usual, those of you that aren't here for that are like, Danielle, shut up. I will, okay? Well, I'm not going to shut up, but I'm going to start talking about why you actually came here, so this isn't a clickbait video, okay? DC, hello! Everyone go subscribe to DC. Let me pull up her channel like it's 1975 because I still haven't figured out how to make the chatbot thingy work. Oh my god, and why isn't it not? Oh my god. Okay, everyone, bear with me. Oh, why am I such a boomer, honestly? Some days I'm just like, Danielle, you need to figure it out. Okay, here we go. All right. Enough blabbering. Welcome to the main event. Holy moly, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so overwhelmed. Okay. My brain just glitched for a second. I swear to God. Julia, what's up, my dude? Welcome. Let's freaking go. Okay, so again, I've already repeated this 1,000 times. I haven't been following this. I don't know what's going on. So we're going to start by reading a news article so that I can get caught up to speed because I spend my days on the internet snarking on coaches. And so it was requested that I cover this. So let's go ahead and jump right into the drama. Time to spill the tea. So we're going to read this article together so that I can figure out what the heck's going on. And let me figure out what way is the best to do this. I feel like it's too small if I do it like that. So we'll do it like this. Then we're going to go to their Instagram, watch some videos, their website. We're just going to play it by ear. You guys know me, I'm winging it. So let's go ahead and read through the article first. So who is Jodi Hildebrant, Ruby Franke arrest, and Connexions cult allegations explained? So Jodi Hildebrant, who is the woman on the left in this image, is a name that has been very popular for the past few days owing to her social media activity where she was cited in something that was said to be untoward. Who wrote this article? With Ruby Franke, the YouTube channel 8 Passengers. So the woman on the right here is Ruby Franke. She used to run a like mommy blogging channel called 8 Passengers because it was her 6 children and her husband, I believe. Anything that I share that's inaccurate, someone correct me in the comments because I'm sure that those of you watching know way more about this than I do. I'm just a talking head on the internet, okay? New information reveals that a youngster crawled out of a window to obtain aid, which led to the discovery of abuse after a YouTube star was detained and charged with severe child abuse. So again, that was Ruby Franke who was detained. And apparently, I think she's still in custody if someone wants to confirm. Ruby Franke was taken into custody on Wednesday on 2 counts of second-degree felony aggravated CA. Ruby Franke is well known for her YouTube channel 8 Passengers, which has attracted the attention of millions of people worldwide. On August 30th, blah, 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 she was arrested, is what it's saying. Sorry, I just want to get to the point. Who is Jodi Hildebrant? That's why we're here today. In addition to being a life coach, love that, and an author, Jodi Hildebrant founded and created Connexions in Utah. So Connexions is the program or like organization that we're going to be discussing today. Just for a little bit of context. So it says she also spent 5 years working at Cirque Lodge, a drug rehab center that emphasizes addiction therapy. She wants to spread life lessons all across the world so that everyone can have wholesome, significant, and enticing relationships, according to her official website. In order for them to have a real connection, she invites people to propose family members for her program. Furthermore, she asserts that kids will never be able to properly interact with anyone in life if they do not acquire these new truths of life. Ruby Franke appeared frequently on the 8 Passengers channel, which included Julie, Chad, Shari, Abby, Russell, and Eve Franke, together with her husband, Kevin Franke, and their 6 children. But for the past 3 years, the family has been in a downward spiral. Prior to being taken offline in early 2023 for unclear reasons, the channel had over 2.5 million members at its peak. I'm assuming by members they mean, wait, do they actually mean channel members or do they mean subscribers? Does somebody know? Let me know. The family has been a target of numerous accusations, which mark the start and conclusion of 8 Passengers. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We're going back to that. Franke announced in June 2022 that she would be partnering with a woman by the name of Jodi Hildebrant to launch a new channel called Connexions. Hildebrant started the business on her own. She is also a therapist, so Jodi is a therapist, not Ruby. According to the aforementioned website, whose license was put on an 18-month probation by the Utah Clinical Mental Health Counselor Licensing Board in January 2012 for discussing a patient's corn addiction with leaders at their Mormon church without the patient's consent. Observers immediately expressed concern and labeled Connexions, Franke, and Hildebrandt's channel as a cult. It presents itself as a mom support group that helps and rehabilitates women who are lost and trapped in the darkness of distortion, which breeds dread, despair, and all other types of self-destructive conduct. Her methods, though, have drawn criticism for being extreme, damaging, and autocratic. What else is new? Okay, and then it gets into the arrest. Again, I'm not covering that today. If you're interested in learning more, I've linked Julie Joe's videos that cover it down below. So you can start there. Let me catch up on what everyone's saying in the comments to make sure that I'm on the right page here. Sorry, did I offend people with my boomer comment? I just meant I don't know how the computer works. I feel like my dad. He types like this. They say a window. Okay, so Wee Sweet Got says, they say a window, but a 911 call. Wee Lad said he escaped via the porch. Okay. So he like ran to a neighbor's house though, right? And then the neighbor called 911. Is that correct? Again, I've only been like, I haven't really been following the story. I've just been hearing bits and pieces. Okay. Lori says, I know the story and this article doesn't make any sense. Okay. So it's not just me. Yeah, I was kind of confused. The names, but then they listed the names, but then they also said plus the 6 children. So are the names that they listed not the children or are they the children? I don't know. Okay. Sorry. I feel like I'm so all over the place right now. Okay, so that just gives a little bit of context. So from what I understand, and again, you can correct me in the comments, basically this woman, Jodi, so again, it's the woman on the left-hand side. I'll pull the image up on the screen again. The woman on the left here, she is a licensed therapist or was a licensed therapist. I don't know if she still has her license. And then we have Ruby, who is the mother, who I believe like participated as a client of Jodi's and then decided to work with her, like partner with her to provide the coaching services. So overall, very sketchy stuff happening here, in my opinion. Yeah. Harrison says, HIPAA? Never heard of her, clearly. She should not be talking about anyone's addiction. So, as someone who used to work in addictions, there are a number of rules and regulations pertaining to not only like what kind of relationships you can have with your clients, but also what information you're allowed to share and with who. So in most circumstances, anything a client tells you, especially in a like therapeutic setting, is to remain private unless there is a risk of harm to themselves or others, in which case you can escalate it to like the police essentially is the only other option, or a like hospital psych ward. So with something like a corn addiction, I wouldn't necessarily see that as being life threatening to anyone, nor like neither the individual nor anyone else. So to share it with the members of your church seems less than ethical. Okay, so We Sweet Goth is saying very coachy. So I hear the clients become mini coaches that the that coach the way Jodi would. Okay, so it's like any other coaching program we've seen. If those of you who are here have watched my video about Brooke Castillo, I cover the life coach school, and then I also cover the self-coaching scholars program, which is like her monthly membership. And so what some people have commented on that video since I made it is that they actually joined self-coaching scholars hoping to get like a closer connection to Brooke. And all it turned out to be was people who had paid for their certification through the life coach school and now we're coaches on Brooke's coaching platform. So it's like Brooke is the head coach. She trains all these other coaches, and then those coaches provide the same style of life coaching that she does through her self coaching scholars program. So it's very common, similar to what we see across the rest of the coaching industry, which I guess is a bit of like a broad statement, but I've been involved in the coaching industry for about 6 years now. So I think I know what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, and then We Sweet Goth is also saying the women become coaches, the men get kicked out, and life's destroyed to isolate them. Interesting. Okay, so maybe we'll get into that in some of the stuff that we're going to read. But I kind of wanted to have a little bit of a discussion as we get started um, about the ethics behind, or the problem I have, I guess, with the transition from being a licensed therapist and moving into the coaching space. So I don't actually know if I've talked about this in depth in any of my videos. I know it's come up a few times. Um, and I believe that Tom, Reaction Therapy, and I discussed it in the stream that we did together. But this idea of people who are licensed therapists leaving therapy as a practice to become a life coach. And I made some notes just because I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything. So, like, if you can tell that I'm reading something, it's because I literally am. And so I was kind of like brainstorming before I got on here, you know, what would be some of the problematic reasons for someone transitioning from therapy into life coaching? And so there's just a couple that I want to address. And if you think I forgot anything, feel free to put it in the comments. So the first and most obvious one, I think, is the lack of regulation. Obviously, therapy is highly regulated. And as was indicated in that article we read, she had her license temporarily suspended for not following the regulations set out by the board of Utah. And so I think that obviously those regulations exist for a reason, because when it comes to therapy, it comes to mental health, there's a lot of dangers associated with individuals' well-being and their safety and that kind of thing. And if we aren't following or being held accountable to the way that we're dealing with those issues, I think that it kind of really sets us up for a big mess, for lack of a better term. And again, I've talked about that particularly in a lot of my videos, specifically on life coaching, about like the boundaries that get crossed. If you've watched my shadow work video, a lot of really underqualified people talking about things they shouldn't have any business talking about. And so obviously, if she has a background in therapy, sure, she has the education, but I think the scope of practice starts to get blurry when you're a therapist who's trained to help people address, their mental health issues, emotional challenges, and maybe psychological disorders that they face. When you decide to become a life coach and want to focus more on that personal development, goal setting, and motivation piece, I think the switch from what you used to do to what you should be doing now can again become a little bit blurry and cause the two roles to sort of like meld together. And that's where I think the ethics start to become a little bit more questionable. And again, I haven't looked at any of this content, so I don't know that that's what's happening here, but I'm just guessing based on what I've seen elsewhere in the industry. Again, on a similar note to that kind of scope of practice blurring, I think for the client, it might not be totally clear what the difference is between therapy and life coaching, or what the role is of the coach, and what the boundaries are, given that, again, she has that therapeutic background. So overall, I just think there's a lot of professional ethical issues here. And so I'm interested to see how this kind of plays out as we look into some of the content, as well as like what the actual trainings look like. Because again, I haven't read any of this or looked at any of this. Okay. Julia's saying, same thing happened to me with another coach in their program and then coaching in their program. Interesting. So I never had that happen to me when I was a coach, but I guess like none of the coaches I worked with really had like a large enough scale business to need people to do the work for them. But I've definitely seen it in like smaller programs, not just like the Brooke Castillos, but it's just so interesting to me of like, okay, I'm going to pay you $10,000 to coach me, and now you can hire me to be a coach for you. And so you only have to work 4 hours a week because I'm going to be doing the 40 hours of work. Anyways, that's a story for another day. Yeah. So Harrison's saying it's a razor thin line between inspiring people to become coaches and then grooming them into your downline. And that's what kind of, I think, really makes the blurry lines. Like people always comment, oh, coaching is the new MLM. And I'm like, it's not, because it's not an MLM. It's straight up not an MLM, but they have the same parallels because they use the same tactics. So now I'm coaching you, but I'm recruiting you to become a coach for me. So it is very similar. Okay, DC is saying Mormon Stories interview said she was approved by the Mormon church as a recommended therapist to Mormon members of the church. Interesting. And then she's telling the Mormon church what these people are telling her, allegedly, based on her 2012 allegations, in my opinion. Yikes. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, lack of ethics. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, I'm thinking about if I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of someone who is a licensed therapist. So let's just pretend that I have the qualifications. What would be the incentive for me to want to become a life coach instead? I think you can charge way more money, and there's no one telling me how much money I can charge. So I can start making my $10,000 every 5 seconds. And B, I think a big piece of it is there's no one to tell me what I can and can't do because I'm not being regulated anymore. And then you also don't have to pay like your yearly annual licensing fee or whatever. So We Sweet Goth is saying she apparently targeted people with money or came into money and used their pain points to slowly get in there with them. So again, same thing we see in the coaching industry. Let's figure out people's vulnerabilities and then exploit them. Pain points. Okay. Let's go ahead and look through, what do we want to do first? So I have the website, I have Instagram, or I have a Reddit thread that we can read. I'm thinking maybe we should start with the website so we can get some more context of what's going on here, but you can let me know in the comments what you think. Very strange people in this industry, kind of brainwashy. Yes. Okay, so if you're new here and you haven't watched a lot of my content, I would recommend starting with my series. It's 3 videos. They're each less than 15 minutes long. And it discusses the parallels between MLMs, coaching, and cults, and how a lot of the tactics that are used in each of these 3 industries are very, very similar. And so I discuss the crossover. In one video, I discuss the role of the leader. So having like that very sort of standout person that's really good at manipulation and can convince people to kind of jump onto the bandwagon. And then I also talk about, I don't even remember something. Let me just pull it up here. But I would recommend starting there, and I can drop I'll drop video number 1 in the comments. The last one's manufactured credibility. So how these people will like make up fake stats, use unrealistic information to try and convince you that what they're doing is legit. So here's video number 1. If you haven't watched that series, I would recommend you do that because I think that really plays into what we're discussing today. Okay, the therapists I know who became coaches do it because there are licensing standards that they don't want to abide by. For instance, they come to believe that evidence-based practice can be harmful. Okay, so yeah, they want to be able to do whatever they want. And I don't mean that like rudely. I mean, I know of people who have good intentions that are licensed therapists that are now life coaches. But in this context, it seems a little bit sketchy, especially since her license was temporarily suspended at one point. Yeah, that's fair, Marie. That's a really good point. So Marie's saying, I think it could be that you feel you can't handle the heavy stuff anymore. But again, I really think that depends on the individual practitioner because I fear that what a lot of people are doing is okay, so let's say I don't want to deal with people's trauma. I don't want to help people work through the mental health stuff. And I want to get into more of that, moving forward, goal setting, personal development stuff. As a person who formerly did work in that, heavier topic area, how am I going to know how to differentiate? That's where I think it gets a little bit murky for me. Especially if you practice for many, many years and then decided to make the transition. How do you know how to, like, turn that off is what I'm wondering. Yeah, okay, that makes sense too. They wanna use non-evidence-based methods like tarot or oracle cards. Yeah, because that would be a big no-no. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you, appreciate everyone. Be sure to give the stream a thumbs up if you haven't already, as it really helps my channel. Basically, you can be a secular agnostic faith healer as a coach, but it's frowned upon when your license requires you. Yeah, okay. Makes sense. Okay. Thank you, DC, for manning the chat. Yes, exactly. This is my piece. Is like there's no one really holding you to any kind of standard. Okay. I think that's enough rambling for now. Let's go to the website and we'll start there and just kind of, play it by ear. We're just chilling, okay? Oh, I forgot that I was on I don't know. I just clicked on Google. Okay, guys, I don't know. I'm a boomer. Remember, I don't know how to work the internet. I'm not actually a boomer, and I'm sorry to the boomers in the chat. I'm not making fun of you. I literally, when I think of boomer, I just think of my dad who doesn't understand technology at all. And so anytime I don't know what I'm doing, I'm like, this is exactly what my dad would be doing right now. Okay. So this is Connections. This is the like foundation, we'll call it, organization, business that was started by Jodi. Again, the woman from the article that we read at the beginning. And basically, I don't know what's happening here. It says create joy in your life and relationships. Learn to successfully navigate life with Jodi Hildebrant, MS. Does anyone in the chat want to tell me what MS is? Because every like area is different. In Canada, we usually have MSW, which is master social worker, or you have LP, which is like licensed psychotherapist. So, did somebody want to tell me what MS is? Thank you. Connections is a different modality of healing that psychotherapy cannot offer you. Okay, so this is very interesting to me. Again, keeping in mind that the person who is running this website was at one point a licensed psychotherapist and is now a coach. So she's basically saying, I can't teach this stuff in therapy, in my opinion. I can't teach this stuff in therapy, so I'm going to coach you on it instead. Transform your pain into joy. Choose the life you want to have. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just choose the life we wanted to have? That would be nice. Exchange your confusion for clarity. Ay, 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 ay. No, I did not. I did not do that. DC's asking if I suck this site in case it gets shut down. I don't intend on covering this after today, so hopefully we're good for the next hour. Okay, so Lisa is saying that she's been following a lot of this, and Jodi believes her method of therapy needs to be taught widely, so that's what her coaching is about. Okay, So she's like created her own methodology and wants everyone to use it. Classic cult leader, in my opinion. Okay, Master of Science. Interesting. Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So does real change this? Okay, just a complete side note. This looks like every other copy paste coach website that I've ever seen, where it's like, okay, you start with a bold headline that attracts people's attention. Then you talk about, what makes your program different. Then I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions to see if this feels like you, so that if it is you, you're nodding along, reading, thinking, yes, 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 yes. And then I'm going to tell you how I can change your life. Sales page 101. Does real change seem out of reach? You're a mom who doesn't feel good enough and you're just trying to survive another day with your child. You're a husband that gave up on your marriage a long time ago. You're a young teen adult who has been paralyzed by anxiety, depression, and addiction. You've gone to multiple therapists for yourself or your child without experiencing any real results. Oh my God, you are anyone and everyone who carries some sort of trauma. Let me coach you back to health. Like, get. I hate that. I hate that. You have the power to choose what the story of your life is going to be. Do I though? Do I though? Oh, this is giving me the same vibes as there was a video I did, a reaction video in which one of the women was basically explaining, like, I'm pretty sure the thumbnail of it is me being like, this almost made me cry because it literally almost did. This woman was basically saying that everything in your life is a choice. If you face hardship, boo-hoo, no one cares. And trauma response isn't real. And if you are like hung up on bad things that happen to you, that's a problem with your mindset. And I just watched this video and was like, what is this person actually saying? Like, how do people actually think like this? And so, again, while I'm reading through this website, I'm keeping in the back of my mind that this woman is a trained psychotherapist and she is spewing this kind of rhetoric, which is so harmful and so dangerous, in my opinion, to tell people that they have a choice. Like, to an extent, sure, you have a choice, to see difficult situations and decide how you're going to respond within reasonable circumstances. Sometimes when we are impacted by trauma, by traumatic events, by different experiences in our lives, we don't have the wherewithal to be able to decipher how to respond in the moment. And so it just seems very, I don't know what the word is, but like ignorant to have this perspective. Empower your life with training that is built on principles of honesty, responsibility, and humility. Connections offers training that takes self-improvement to a whole new level. Start empowering your life with these training options. So they have a monthly membership for $21. They have men's and women's teams for $75 a week. And then they have one-on-one training. So the one is like a weekly Zoom call, it looks like. And then they have a video library with video trainings, retreats, etc. And then the group is like a 90-minute each week to empower each other to heal. So like group coaching, I guess. Or you can do a one-off 50-minute session. Are you ready to feel empowered? Hello, I'm Jodi, your mental fitness and relationship expert. I have over 25 years working with people just like you to help facilitate positive and powerful change. I began practicing in psychotherapy and my patients were not healing. Maybe you weren't doing your job right. I'm sorry. When I began empowering people by educating them with the principles of truth, I saw my patients radically change in front of me. So I really sucked at my job and decided that I would just make up my own information. And suddenly I got really good at my job. I learned how to brainwash people and things changed. You don't have to be a victim to your circumstances or the people around you. You can have the life you want, but you must dispose of distortion's ugly lies in order to live in truth, connection, and freedom. Start your training with Connections to work on the foundations necessary to uncover the truth. Okay. And then classic coaching testimonials. We all know how I feel about those. Successfully navigate your relationships. Life and relationships with clarity begins with you. Okay. And then you pick what you want. So we can have a look through those. Let me catch up on the comments section. What's up? Okay. Okay. It's masters, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Let's see. Psychotherapists are trained to be generalists. In the US, you train in a specialty before you finish training. So some might become coaches so that they can be more generalized. Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking is like, so you're telling me that when you were a therapist, you weren't like, what were her three? Her three were learning to be honest, responsible, and humble. You couldn't do that? You couldn't teach people those things when you were a therapist? Like, what's actually going on here? This doesn't really, the math isn't mathing, as the children say these days. Yeah, exactly. Marie, it gives me really, really icky feelings whenever someone is saying that. And again, like, as is everything I share on my channel here, like, I used to be someone that would like spread this harmful narrative all over the internet. Like, if you're unhappy, just choose joy. Like, no, you don't just freaking choose it, Danielle. Stop being an idiot. But for like a 50-year-old woman to be walking around spewing this is just like, ugh, it's embarrassing. Okay, let's take a look. So if I click here, oh, I gotta share this tab instead. Oh, we got a video. This is gonna be fun. I'm excited. Okay, can we do it this way? How's that? Let's see. So this is Empowering Joy, the membership. So I believe it was $21 a month. Let's see what she has to say.
Welcome to the Empowering Joy class.
Very loud.
I'm Jodi Hildebrant. I am sure you're here because you have a desire to heal, a desire to have joy in your life and connection in your relationships. I have that same desire, not only for myself, but also for you. And so I'm very aware that many people are coming and they feel like they can't figure out how to have those things, joy, connection, clarity. And the truth is that you can. Those of you who have been given a diagnosis, I want to tell you that your diagnosis is not who you are. It's not you. The truth is that you can't change. You just need education. You need the correct education. You need to understand about the power of your agency and what your agency / your choice has the power to do. And that's where the Empowering Joy class comes in.
I know that I am not the only mom who has spent much of her time.
Wait, was this after they partnered together that this video was made, or is she like giving a testimonial?
Looking for a program or a class or some kind of curriculum that I could share with my child, where my child would easily understand and learn about their value and to inspire them. What I have found is Empowering Joy, and it is now a family favorite. The tradition is every Saturday we get up and we listen to Empowering Joy as we make breakfast together. It really sets the stage for the rest of the weekend. The changes that have occurred in my home have been calming. Because of Empowering Joy, my entire family now has a common vocabulary.
Okay, I could do a whole video on why I hate family vloggers and how exploitative it is to like have your children on your YouTube channel, but to then use your children for a promotional ad for a cult, like, get a freaking clue, lady.
Of words that we use with each other that we know exactly what the other person means when they say them. We can communicate, but I guarantee you will find principles of joy in this class. At the end of each week, as I prepare for a new Saturday class, I'll take the slides off of the fridge and put them in a book. This provides my family with a book of principles and easy to understand visuals. This is literally the book on raising children that you have been looking for. And it is a great way to learn as a family, from mom and dad, the children, invite grandparents, your aunts and uncles to join. And then you have curriculum to discuss the rest of the week. I like to print out my slides and put them on the fridge. And then anytime the kids come home from school or come home from a play date or have an interaction that they're uncomfortable with, or maybe they're being disrespectful, I can go back to the visual and plug any experience into what we learned in a Saturday class. And the reason you can do that is because these are principles, and principles apply across the board in any situation.
I invite you to join me every Saturday to learn about principles of truth. The base, honest, responsible, and humble, and how you can use your choices to empower you to recognize distortion and recognize truth and reframe those distortions, those lies, back into what the reality is, back into the truth, so that your life can become calm. Your life will become clear, and you will be able to have connection and peace. I'll see you on Saturday.
Also, what's with the music? Who edited this video? Like, the music is giving me mommy vlogger vibes. I'm very confused. If I was promoting a mental health program, I don't think that would be the music I would be using. Anyways, hello, Wit. Welcome to the party. Okay, just catching up on some of the comments here. Yeah, Demi, I'm right there with you. All of this sounds, I feel like we just watched an episode of Black Mirror together. That's how I'm feeling. Yes, Hannah, I totally agree. So Hannah is saying cult leaders do typically like to be able to define truth. I was reading through some of the comments before about the truth and distortion piece. I'm still really confused about how this individual defines the word distortion, because the understanding that I had of the word doesn't make sense in the context of a lot of what this woman is sharing. So I'm a little bit confused. Hopefully, as we continue to snoop here, I'll be able to figure some of this out, because I don't know what's going on. Okay, let's continue down the page. So again, this is a promo for their like monthly membership program, which I guess has weekly calls. This is the same. Oh, it's like the same sales page as the homepage. I'm so confused. Who designed this website? First of all, 2 out of 10, 0 out of 10. Terrible. You have the power to choose what the story of your life is going to be. No, I do not, but okay, thank you. Empower your life with training that is built on the principles of honesty, responsibility, and humility. So there's live training every Saturday. And then again, you have 24-hour access to that online course content. And then it's the same thing. Why would anyone buy this? This is literally the exact same as the homepage. I'm so confused. Okay, so you have two options. You can pay $20 a month, or you can pay $200 a month and have a one-on-one session. And then it's literally the same as the other page. Renew your mind, heal your soul, manage your experiences, navigate your relationships. Over 50 plus videos. So then I'm assuming she just creates a library, like every week that she hosts a Zoom call, she adds it to the course content probably. What is happening? How much can I cancel? What's cancellation? Okay, you can cancel anytime. Well, that's nice at least. Yeah, word salad also like very uncomfortable, I would say that video was. Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. Okay. See, I don't know anything about religion. That's a fun fact about me. This is why we keep DC around. She keeps me in line. So she's using the definition of distortion as defined by the Mormon faith. Is that what you're saying? Because I only know it as defined by Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Oh, boy. Okay, interesting. So Jodi's niece has come out since the arrest about how she was treated. Okay. So I know there are lots of other YouTubers that are covering the specifics of like the abuse and that sort of thing. We're not really going to be covering any of that. We're not talking about the arrest or any of that. I'm mostly just focusing on like the coaching content, and we'll discuss the problems that I have with that. But beyond that, feel free to share whatever you want in the comments. I'm just not going to be covering any of that today. Um Yeah, this is the same way I'm feeling. One person's distortion is another person's gaslighting. Exactly. It's like it's whatever fits my narrative for today. Okay. So We Sweet Goth is saying she defines and thinks she knows it better than the church. Very, very interesting. Much to learn. Okay, so that was the membership program. Let's see what else there is to offer us. My brain feels like it's melting already. So this is the men's and women's teams. Okay, this video is only 45 seconds. Oh, it's not showing. Hold on. There we go. Can you see that? No, you can't. Okay, give me a second. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. Here we go. So this video is only 45 seconds. We'll give it a watch.
One of the powerful parts of my experience with Connexions was in a group setting with other men who are all on their own journey, but kind of similar to mine. And then there's something about the accountability, not just of the facilitator, but of the other people in the group, of the other men who are tracking your progress and your commitments.
Again, with the music. What is this?
And when you showed up and you checked in and you hadn't done what you said you were going to do, or you struggled, and then they were there to not just hold you accountable, but then also provide support and feedback for you, was really, really powerful. Very, very helpful.
Okay, that was the worst promo I've ever seen. That did not convince me to buy anything. Okay, Jodi meets with men's and women's teams weekly. The whole purpose is to connect strong men and women with those who are struggling and striving to become clean and pure. These are rigorously active teams who communicate openly and honestly about where they've been, where they are now, and where they want to be. 2 to 18 people in each team. We meet through Zoom, join a men or women's team to get mentally fit and relationally connected. $175, and then after that, it's $300 for every 4 weeks or $75 a week. I don't like this at all. So it's giving me like like church group vibes, but you have to be like invited in. Exactly. Culty AF. That's the vibe I'm getting as well. Okay. Continuing on. Last one, we'll look at the the one-on-one, I guess, coaching. So, one-on-one trainings with Jodi. Why does it sorry, it keeps showing the wrong tab. Okay, try that. There we go. One-on-one trainings with Jodi. Meet by Zoom or phone for $175 per. Oh, whoops. I read $175 per minute. Can you imagine? It's $175 for 50 minutes. Okay, you fill out a form. I wonder what the form looks like. Like, did she take this from therapy? Training is an interaction that occurs between people and produces desired performance. Oh my God, she must have just got this off Google. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, sorry, that was an aside. Step 2, click the button below to set up your initial meeting and then get the most of your sessions. Okay. Wow, that was a big waste of time. Let's learn about us. This is the part I really want to know. What is actually happening?
Welcome to Connections.
Oh my
I'm
God.
Jodi Hildebrant. So glad you're with us. If you're like
Sorry, I didn't mean for that to automatically start playing.
me, you've had pain in your life. It could be from a divorce, work conflicts, relationship issues with children, grandchildren, spouse, anxiety, depression, or fear that you don't understand, feelings that you're not enough or that you're unlovable. Connections is the solution. You can change. You can experience feelings of being whole, centered, liberated, connected, empowered, and free. Come and see for yourself. There's something here for you.
Okay, that was weird. I think the important piece to recognize about any of the people who sort of end up in this position of authority, we will say. And again, I've talked about this in many of my videos. First one being the one I mentioned earlier, the almighty leader when it comes to cults, MLMs, and coaching. But also the video I did about ego and narcissism and the tendencies and traits that a lot of the people who identify as coaches and who are successful in building a large sort of empire in the coaching space is this like larger sense of self that you need to have in order to think that you are a, more important than other people, and B, that your message is the truth, we'll say in the case of Jodi, and that other people need to hear whatever it is you're saying, and that you are so smart that you have all the answers. It's very, very suspiciously narcissistic, in my opinion, which I know not everyone disagrees with that perspective. But I personally believe that you don't have to have like MPD to display narcissistic traits. And so that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Big ego. Yeah, catching up on the comments, sorry. Yeah, good point. So this is saying those require treatment, not fluffery. I have noted this in other videos, but like trauma specifically needs a very specific specialization, even in therapy. You don't just treat trauma, you have to be trained to treat it because it's so complex. Yeah, I have all the answers to any issue you might have. It's very lacking in self-awareness, we will say. Yes. Hannah, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting. So for those of you that are only listening, Hannah's saying, I get the sense that she's the kind of person who thinks abuse basically isn't real and trauma is a choice. Based on these consistent like sentences that we're seeing across the website of like choose joy, choose the path of your life, I'm getting the same vibes of like how you react to stuff is actually completely a choice. So if you're sad, just don't be, okay? So ignorant. Okay. Okay, so my story. My style is compassionate yet direct and clear of what is necessary to fully change and champion any addictive or self destructive behavior, whether it be ravenous addictions, feelings of worthlessness or inadequacy, conflicts in relationships, intimacy problems, communication breakdowns, and frankly, any block that prevents having and creating peace and joy. So you're telling me that you are able to specialize in not one issue, but any issue that someone might face. That just seems like a big red flag. I have counseled thousands of individuals and families of all ages and situations with my unique style, counseled or coached. Remember, there's a difference here. My unique style of educating about the power of choice and the need for impeccable honesty, rigorous responsibility, and vulnerable humility, the which have empowered souls to heal and grow. I love to work with people and see them change. I'm very passionate about this work and seeing it go through the world. I look forward to working with you and seeing you find peace, happiness, and freedom in your life. I received my Bachelor's of Art degree in English and my graduate work in educational psychology, earning a Master's of Science. I began working at Cirque Lodge, which was at the time growing to become a national and now internationally known drug and alcohol treatment center. Following my time at Cirque, I designed and wrote the curriculum for Connections classes, masterclass parenting principles, and group to help treat those lost and stranded in the darkness of distortion, which addictions, fear, sadness, and all other self destructive behaviors derive from. I currently teach several classes a week. As for materials, I have written 24 workbooks and produced 22 DVDs supporting the Connections curriculum, with more on the way. Over 100 free podcasts have been produced in 2 years, and there have been over 1 billion downloads. I want to see receipts for that. 1 billion, right? That's 1 billion. 1 billion downloads? I'm not buying it. With the creation of connectionsclassroom.com, the facilitation of knowledge has never been easier for people to self-educate about these core truths. I have lectured at numerous functions and conferences for hundreds and thousands of people, including doTERRA, of course, BYU Women's Conference. BYU is like the Mormon University, right? And Ward and Stake conferences. I am currently working with business owners and their corporations to spread connections through the business sector, and is now becoming the framework for a growing number of company cultures. Oh God, probably not anymore. Overall, I desire to help our generation and the generations to come dispose of distortions, ugly lies in order to live in truth, connection, and freedom. What you do is not who you are. Mission statement. We invite and encourage healing and facilitate personal growth through impeccable honesty, rigorous personal responsibility, and vulnerable humility. Honest, humble, responsible. Okay. I'm so confused. This is like word salad. Okay. Yeah, there always has to be an MLM. Sorry. Again, just getting caught up. Yeah, Cirque Lodge is a addiction treatment center. Yes. That's kind of what I'm really confused about, is this whole piece of choice. If you are someone who has worked in addictions, it is very evident that addiction is not a choice, because at least in my experience, I don't think any of the clients I worked with would have chosen that. Like, it doesn't make sense. Okay, interesting. See, again, I don't know enough about this, but this comment is saying she thinks everyone is an addict, even if you're not. So, like, I guess she maybe uses the term loosely. Is that what you're saying? So, like, maybe I'm addicted to my phone. I mean, I am, but yeah, exactly. If we were playing cult bingo, we would have filled our cards just by reading this website. 1000%. Okay, so I did want to check out the tabs, or the business team page, because I just want to know if this like Ruby woman is listed anywhere on this website. Okay, so she is. So this is the team. So that was the founder. And then on the team, they have Pat Bodcher, who is the president. I'm assuming at one point she was a client, maybe. Then we have Ruby Franke, who is a certified mental fitness trainer. What is a mental fitness trainer? As in, she's certified by Connections as a mental fitness trainer, or is that like a literal a thing? Let's go to Google. So, okay, there's literally people that call themselves a mental fitness coach. What? A mentor, guide, and partner in your fitness journey. No, that's not real. I hate this so much. We can train and coach you in practical ways to identify your triggers and build your mental muscles. Get out of here. What in the cult is this? No. Okay, I don't like that at all. So we're going to go back to this website. She is a wife and mother to 6 children. She provides content on social media and podcasts. Okay. Oh, so it's just those 2 people. Those are the only 2 people that work here. But you have 1 billion downloads. You're telling me you run a business that has 1 billion people or has 1 billion downloads on your content, and you only have a team of 2 people working for you? I'm calling BS on those statistics. Learn how to heal from stress and anxiety. Learn how to set boundaries for better self-care. Learn how to avoid drama in your own life and in the workplace and more. They have, individual leadership training for $800, which gives you 6 1.5-hour sessions. And then all of the information. Then you have team leadership training, which is $5,000, which still has 6 team. Okay, with a certified connections trainer. So my guess is that Ruby is a certified connections trainer. She's not she doesn't have an external certification. Okay, or you can do company leadership training for $15,000. Wow, this is wild. Okay, conferences. What goes on there? Oh boy. Okay. This could be fun.
Welcome to Connections. I'm Jodi Hildebrant. So glad you're with us. If you're like me, you've had pain in your life.
This is the same video from before. Who designed this website? Okay. Website design 101. Don't put the same video on multiple different pages of your website. Either don't put the video at all or make a new video. Ugh, so freaking stupid. I hate this. Sorry, I'm just catching up on your comments again. Yeah, so her about me said certified mental fitness trainer. So that's what I was confused about. Like, did she get certified by Jodi as a mental fitness trainer, or did she do like an external certification? But obviously that's not a real certification either way, no matter where she did it. But I'm just curious. Yeah, exactly. It's not a thing, but I'm just curious where the title came from. Yeah, what in the cult? That's what I want to know. Welcome, Eloise. We're not actually really covering the case so much as just the content of the coaching program. So far, I give it a 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. Yeah, that's a good point. Wee Sweet Goth says, because she couldn't just say mindset coach like everyone else. She wanted to be different. So we actually rebranded the title of mindset coach to mental fitness trainer. So we can train the muscles of your mind to feel good and to choose joy. Different payment levels depending on how many people you want to traumatize. So bad, but so true. Yes, Hannah, this is why you leave therapy, because you can't charge those prices in therapy. You mean a therapist can't charge $15,000 for a training session? Oh God. Literally, this is so wild. Okay. So again, this is just the same. Okay, now we have team training or individual training. That's kind of like what we looked at on the other. Oh, so this is more like Jodi will come and talk to your team. So she'll do that for $300 or wait. Excuse me. Oh no, okay. This was the men and women's group. $300 for the month. Or you hire her one-on-one. Excuse me. I apologize. Connections invites you to join our empowering. Okay, and that's the membership. Okay, so this website is horrible because it's just showing the same stuff over and over again, slightly different on different pages. So web design 101, don't build your website like this. This is so freaking confusing. Okay, so then she sells a bunch of workbooks ranging from, it looks like $11 to like $42. And then You Are Not Enough. This book is groundbreaking. Jodi introduces a mind-blowing concept of you are not enough. What in the? Jodi explains that you are not a soul that is measured by enoughness. Jodi's vulnerability style helps you understand each principle as she teaches. This book invites people to engage the principles of connection, what distortion is, and how to choose the foundational principles of honest, responsible, and humble in order to battle the lie of distortion. I am not enough. Oh my God. I too would like to analyze these workbooks. Like, also, who is your copywriter? I'm going to guess no one because this is the worst description for a book I've ever read. Anyways, moving on. DVDs, her 1 billion downloaded DVDs. Again, ranging from like $11 to $37, $42, it looks like. Or you can buy all the DVDs for $100. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I can't stop yawning. Ugh, okay. Bundles. Okay, same thing. Again, who designed this? So brutal. I hate it here. Different videos and podcasts. Maybe there's something fun we can watch here. Okay. Do the YouTube videos still exist or did the channel? Okay. I thought I heard that. I think someone told me they're still available on Facebook, maybe. But anyways, not really important. Catching up on the comments. These double negatives in her book title make my brain hurt. Same. I'm like, okay, but what are you saying? You are not enough. So why wouldn't you just write you are enough? It makes me sound way smarter if I speak in double negatives so that you can tell that I'm really trying to make a point here. I think so too. I would get better value reading a bunch of Pinterest quotes. Exactly. Go on Instagram and type in #inspired, and I feel like you'll get better results than anything in any of these books that you'll spend money on. Okay, does anyone know what I have to search on Facebook to find the videos? Is it just like a Facebook page or is it a private Facebook group? So if I just search Connections. Okay, yeah, it's all here. Interesting. Okay, I will share this in a second. Okay. Zan, 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 zan. Yeah, exactly. So this comment saying unqualified people getting money from people who need a real therapist. Same old song and dance that we see here time and time again if you've watched any of my content. Okay. Whoops, that was an accident. Let me try and share this Facebook page. So it looks like there's lots of stuff here. I would love to find the video that explains what distortion is because I'm still really confused about that. So just give me a second here. So much content. Oh my goodness. I don't know if that video's on here. I really am just trying to understand where these people are coming from. Like, I just don't. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I want to watch this one because I feel like maybe this will provide us with a little bit more context about what's actually going on here, but maybe not. Who knows? Let's see.
Welcome to Connections. I'm Jodi Hildebrant.
And I'm Franke.
We're going to talk today about distortion. Like, what is distortion? The fastest way for you to understand what distortion is
Why is the sound not syncing up with the lips?
is that it means distorting the truth. So we have recorded a video about
No.
truth.
Okay, let's try this one. Maybe it'll like I can't watch a video where the sound doesn't sync to the mouth.
Welcome
There we
to
go.
Connections.
Okay, we'll watch
Glad
this
you're
one.
with us. We are talking about
So sorry, this one is titled Truth Isn't What You Think. What is your true? What's true for you is not the same as truth. The truth is factual and provable by a third party. What is true for you or for me or for others is a matter of perception, experience, and personal opinion. If you're going to understanding and communicate what? If you're going to understand, I'm assuming they mean, and communicate effectively with others, knowing this distinction is essential.
true. The word true. 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 And we're going to help you juxtapose the difference between true
Literally.
and the truth.
So we just filmed a video about the truth.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it after you see this and juxtapose it. See what the difference is.
All of us want connection. And so in
Why don't we juxtapose this to the fact that you're in jail right now?
order to be able to connect, we must have a base that is honest, responsible, and humble, and then we get the outcome of connection. We talked all about that in the video of truth. So we're going to talk about what is true. So Ruby, what is true? How would you like to define that?
True is very personal. True is my perception. They are my feelings, my opinions, how I see the world.
So who is the architect of what's true? You.
You.
That's right. Each person, what are there, 7.5 billion people on the planet? Each one of us gets to speak what is true for me, my opinion. So let's go right into the characteristics of true. Just like we did, we juxtaposed the characteristics of what's the truth, versus what is true. So what is true? True is subjective, because subjectivity means it's changeable. And so what is changeable? Our emotions.
Sorry, is that you're saying their sound is low? I don't know if I can adjust that. No, it's like
Are
max
changeable.
out.
Our feelings, which also means emotions. Those are always fluctuating, our emotions. They're subjective. They respond to.
They're also speaking in like a massive room. It sounds like they're like filming this in an empty room. So I think that the sound seems low because the audio quality is garbage.
What it is that I'm perceiving.
Have you ever had an experience where you look back and you see it differently? You thought something was just terrible, horrible, no good, and then you look back on it years later and you think, that was kind of fun, actually. I don't know why I was being such a grump.
So
I'll turn on the captions as well.
other characteristics of what is true is that inside my opinion, I don't have facts. It's just this interpretation of what I am experiencing. Now, can I have facts inside of my opinion? Yes, I can speak facts. I can say, I showed up on Thursday at this time. Those are factual. But inside that sentence, I could also move from here's truth here inside of a sentence, and then all of a sudden I go into true. So I was there on Thursday at this time, and somebody on the other side of the world could say, well, that was not the time that you were there. You were there 8 hours later. Like, wait a minute. So who has the truth? Well, the truth is that there's different time zones in the world. That's the truth. So for them, they were at noon and I was at, 6 a.m. or 4 a.m. What's true is that we had different experiences at different times when the sun's coming up and over the country.
So it all comes back to principle, because the principle is our time is run by the sun, no matter where we are. The same principle applies to families who all go and do an experience together. Like the facts are, we went to Lagoon here in Utah. That's the big place that I always went to growing up. And the truth is, 7 people went, and then we come home, and I have a perception of how the day went. It was the same temperature for everybody. We all rode the same rides, and my perception of the roller coaster was, this was amazing, this is wonderful, it was the best time of my life. And my little sister will have...
I'm sorry. This comment, dear Lord, we all know the very basic concept of people each having their own brains. What does this have to do with truth? Also, the example of time zones, like, I'm sorry, what are you saying? This doesn't make any sense.
Perception of, that was horrible, I got sick, I threw up, I don't ever want to go there again. So you have facts, and then to have their perception of what it means for me.
Because I am the one that's responsible, whether I'm speaking truth or true, I need to make sure that I know the difference between. So if my sister and I are discussing this experience and I say, that was the best, and she's like, are you kidding me? That wasn't the best. And we, again, this image of tug-of-warring of what was the best, we need to both be willing to be humble, go back to those same core principles of honest, responsible, and humble. We need to be humble, each of us, and say, oh, you had a different experience than I did. It's not that I was wrong and you were right, or vice versa. It's just a different experience by nature of my perception.
Well, that's where chaos comes into your relationships. If you have a relationship where you feel that constant tug of war, look at your perceptions. Look at what is true for you and ask yourself, am I forcing what's true for me onto another person? Am I trying to control your perception of what's true for me as the truth?
Yes, exactly. And that word control that she just used is a classic characteristic of distortion, which will be coming up in our next video. So characteristics of true, they are not knowable by a third party. You cannot corroborate like you can the truth, the facts, because it doesn't consist of facts. It consists of these.
That's not true, though. Like, why are you making up a definition that isn't accurate? It's just confusing.
Like we talked about, these opinions, these subjective experiences, and so many of us talk about our feelings, and we'll say things like, I feel that I should have this, and that's the truth. or I feel that you made me mad, and that's the truth.
Well, and the stronger, so this is in distortion.
Yes.
The stronger I feel about something, the more true it is. And that there's truth to that. And that's how I feel.
Yeah.
That is what gets me into trouble.
Exactly, exactly. And many of us are around other people that when I have a strong emotional response or reaction to something, they will back off from me. And if I say, and that's the way it's going to be because it's the truth, they'll just back off, because not because there's truth in it, but because I am so demonstrative and so aggressive. And so this is why it is imperative that you understand what is the truth and what is true. And I want to say for you, but truth isn't about for you. What is true is about you, because you're the architect of what's true. Truth, the architect, is your higher power, or if you believe in a God, that is the architect of truth.
So the truth is reality, just a little recap, and true is my perception. So I actually get...
Okay, but what is the point of this? I think this is why I'm so confused, is like, why are we creating a new definition for the words true and truth, like a new differentiation between the two? What's the point? I don't get what the benefit is. They're saying true is how you perceive a situation, and then truth is the actual situation, which, based on my understanding of what the word true and truth means, that's not accurate. So I'm very confused. Okay, interesting. So DC says they're going to say sexual preference is true but not truth. Two genders, only appropriate interaction between married man. Okay, interesting. So if I identify as bisexual, that's true, but it's not the truth, because the truth is that I'm heterosexual. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. I don't think they know, or they wouldn't be checking in with each other. It's like I was kind of thinking that because one of them will speak and then the other one will like affirm, like nodding along. And so I'm wondering if it's like they're just making this up on the spot and the other person's like, "Oh yes, yes, true, 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 true. Okay. Yes." And then they just add their own word salad on top. You're not confused, it's just your truth. It's actually my true, not my truth, because true is what I think, truth is what is. Oh my god. Well, Jodi and Ruby, if you're about the truth, maybe you should tell the truth about what allegedly happened. Yeah. I don't think that's gonna come out. Oh god. Okay. Truth means conservative essentialism, but true means however my non-binary ass identifies. Yep, exactly. Okay. So this is just like very backwards in my true. My true opinion.
To choose my true, and I
Oh,
don't
I think we have a visitor.
get to choose the reality around me. I don't get to control the world.
Yes.
I can control my perception of the world.
And when Ruby says, I get to choose what is true, my perception, I don't get to force my perception onto anyone else. It is just for me, nobody else. So this is where, we were just talking about where a lot of chaos, a lot of instability starts showing up inside dynamics, relationships, because one person is in a place of control, which means they're in distortion. Or another way to say it is they're trying to tell the other person what is reality and what is not. And the truth is that that person is responsible to learn the characteristics of truth and then govern their own choices from that perspective of truth versus true.
Well, and what I'm seeing is when someone feels really strongly about their perception, they do come at you with that steamroller, and the other person backs off, it gives the false sense that, oh, it really is the truth. So you get these people backing off because I don't want to have a confrontation with you. If that's true for you and you feel so strongly about that, I'm going to back off. And so it gives you this false perception that, you do get to choose what's the truth.
So there are two choices in life. There is choosing truth, or there's choosing distortion. Again, we haven't gone over distortion yet, but we're just...
Okay, so true is a distortion, yes? So there's truth and there's distortion. True is my perspective, therefore true falls under distortion. Am I following this correctly?
just going to keep throwing that word out there so you get a little bit curious. It's kind of like a little teaser for you. But let's talk about truth and how true inside truth, because when I am being responsible for my perceptions, my emotions, and my actions, I am responsible to know the difference between me speaking in the truth versus me speaking what is my opinion, what's true. So let's talk about some examples. One thing that comes to mind that everybody in the world has or is still engaged with are masks.
Yeah.
Masks.
She said it.
Yikes.
You have to look both ways before you...
Am I okay to say that?
Can I share, what my opinion is?
My true is about masks. So from my perspective, my true is that masks, I have listened to
Sorry, this conversation is about to take a weird turn. I don't know how we got here.
lots of information, and I'm struggling to find the truth about masks. I'm struggling. I can't seem to find out where the truth is. Now, many of you would say, well, go look at the research. It's like, well, the research keeps changing on us. I have heard as much research-based support for masks as I have heard research-based support to not wear masks. I remember I watched a video probably a year and a half ago of some people who had numerous letters behind their name, which means they were super qualified or specialists. And they
Says the woman who literally puts numerous letters after her name on her own website.
put a particular mask on, then they put a candle in front of them, and they blew, and the candle went out. And they tried all these different masks, and the candle kept going. And so this person concluded what the truth was, is that if I put this mask on, and I keep a flame this far away, how many inches, and I blow, it will blow the flame out. That was, we saw the facts right in front of us. So the conclusion for this person was that it's not the truth.
Yeah, so William, to catch you up to speed, their definition of the word true is like your own perspective, your own opinion, whereas truth is like this ultimate, we don't have a say in what is the truth. The truth is the truth, and true is what we perceive the truth to be, which makes it distortion, which is a sin.
That masks are going to stop air from coming out, or somebody else's release of air from their mouth into your mouth or your vicinity, depending on how close they are. So that was...
Yes, Rebecca, that is your true. It is not the truth. So my true, which grammatically doesn't make any sense, is my opinion, but it is not the truth. Again, if we come back to the conversation of sexuality, if my true is bisexual, the truth is that heterosexuality is the only thing that exists. Therefore, I am living in distortion.
This person's conclusion. So I'm not sure where the truth is, but lots of people have opinions around that piece of cloth.
Okay, Julia, I wanted to bring this up too, because when she did she put air quotes around, there's a lot of research that shows that masks are effective. And I'm thinking, like, do you understand what research is? Research is something that is always evolving as more evidence presents itself. So we don't just like study something and come to a conclusion, then decide that it's the fact forever. Like, that's literally the point of research, is to discover new things and to change our theories. Like, what in the... I don't know how we got here.
So the other piece of masks, the facts or the truth about masks is that it's a piece of cloth that has ear loops.
It's separating your mouth from me.
Yes. And you put it on, you wear it. So there's factual data around masks. As far as their protection, I think it's just lots of people's opinions. That's what I've experienced.
Yeah. Well, if it was as easy as taking a temperature in the room, I could get 1,000 thermometers, and as long as they're calibrated correctly or calibrated in the truth, every single thermometer is going to show me the exact same temperature. It's going to be 72 degrees in here. And so this is where it gets confusing. And you know, it could be about masks, it could be about breastfeeding babies, it could be about what side to sleep on, it could be about, you know, how to get rid of sleep apnea. And if you bring in, you know, 1,000 people, they're all calibrated differently, meaning the perceptions are all coming from a different core place. You're going to get 1,000 different opinions.
Right.
Okay, but where is the truth coming from? Who is in charge of determining the truth? That's what I need to know.
That's exactly
And so that's why it's confusing when people say this is the truth, and you're going, there's no calibration to that.
Right. And even if we were to look back just 100 years, people who were saying, here's, they're dead now, but if we could have them present, what they thought was truth has changed dramatically.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
just 100 years.
Think about the smoking and tobacco.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that has changed as we have gained more research and experience.
And I would say we've stayed humble. Honest, responsible, and humble. We've stayed humble because if people inside.
Okay, if you say you're staying if you say you're staying humble, that's usually a sign that you're not staying very humble.
These modalities, the medical modality, were not humble. They wouldn't accept new experiences, and they wouldn't try new things, and they wouldn't be willing to say, this is another angle we haven't considered. Let's see what happens.
Oh, absolutely.
So good for them. But again, that is telling us, it's like reinforcing what we're sharing with you, is that when someone is honest, responsible, and humble, then they're able to connect with truth. And the outcome is connection. I mean, truth and connection are just,
truth brings connection.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and that gets me thinking, even in science, there is room for humility. When you are humble in the world of science, you learn. I mean, just, less than 70 years ago, people thought that if you touch the heart, I mean, this was in the medical books, if you touch a human heart, it will stop beating. And because there were humble researchers, Russell and Nielsen is one of them, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to try this. And he touched the heart, and guess what? It kept beating. And they learned how to do heart transplants now.
So imperative that you practice how to be honest, responsible, and humble, which means recognize the difference.
What kind of example was that?
Between what is the truth and what is true. So how do you do that? You practice. And how do you practice? You use your choices. You use your agency. So all day long you get to choose. I've said this before, I'll say it probably another million times before I die. Choice goes one direction or the other. You either choose in truth and recognize when you're in truth that you are moving in between what's the truth and what is true for you, and you recognize the differentiation, because if you don't recognize it, then you start getting reactionary and you start not being willing to be humble. But if you're willing to own that, then you say, okay, this is my opinion and this is the truth, and that's my opinion and this is the truth. And the difference between distortion, those are your two choices. And so be very deliberate, very intentional around using this beautiful gift of choice.
Well, what I hear you doing is giving us really the secret to this question of how do I share myself? How do I share my true with you? If you are being,
Maybe it's like the incite lady that's going around, if anyone follows Mallory on Instagram, she attended a How to Heal Your Eyesight masterclass on the weekend. Perhaps we just need to decide to heal our sleep apnea.
Of a different opinion.
Yeah.
How do I do that? How do I share myself when we have a difference of opinion and stay in truth?
So, great question. That's probably a little bit complicated what she just said. How do I share what is my opinion, what is true for her, and present it using language and body language that's truthful?
Yeah.
Correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So here's where your base comes in. The only way for her to be able to do that is that she must have an understanding of what truth is and what true is. So one of the characteristics of the truth is being responsible. So what are you responsible for? Here's what's also true. You are responsible for your perceptions, your emotions, and your choices to behave, or your choices to act. So her willingness to share her opinion and stay in the truth means that she must stay conscious of what the difference is. Like when she says something that's truthful and when she says something that's her opinion. And so her delivery would be compassionate, it would be curious, it would be open and willing, which is humble. She would say, hey, this is my opinion. So she'd preface what she's saying with, this isn't the truth. This is just what I believe, or I think is right. And she would stay open. And why is that a truthful presentation? Because it fits with humility. Humility means I'm willing, I'm teachable, I'm curious, I'm open. The second someone is not humble, they are not interested, they shut down, they think they're right, they're not interested in anybody else.
Wait, but don't you think you're right? And aren't you not interested in what anyone else has to say? Because what you have to say is the truth. So I'm really confused about that one.
Else's thoughts or feelings or perceptions. And they go running, figuratively or literally, in a place of control. They want to stop you from sharing. So that is contradictory to truth.
So no matter how strong I feel, I still don't have permission to steamroll you.
That's right. Never. And I want to go back and just underscore this thing about feelings. Feelings are lovely. Without feelings, you probably wouldn't have much passion in life. So both of us are absolute supporters of feelings. The part that you need to understand is that you're responsible for them.
So I don't get to blame you for me feeling this way.
Never.
You fed me that pasta and my stomach hurts. My feeling sick really is because of you.
Right. And a lot of it, that's not true. That's not the truth. But a lot of us feel that way. Yeah. We feel that way. And the reality is that I'm responsible to respond in a truthful way. I may have a stomach ache after I have eaten the pasta, or she's eaten the pasta, and I get to manage the stomach ache. I don't get to blame anyone.
I chose to eat the pasta, and as a result, now I have a stomach ache.
Yes.
It wasn't because of Jodi.
Right. Now, some of you may think, well, but it was. I mean, Jodi made the pasta and she handed it to you. And all of that is the truth. However, she chose to.
Yeah, this is the same vibe I'm getting. Lindsay says, I feel like I'm listening to two stoned people at a party who think they're being super deep and meaningful. Ay, ay, ay.
Eat the pasta. That's where her responsibility is. She could have said, no, thank you. And so you might say, well, she didn't know. Well, yeah, she didn't know, but that's part of her experience. She's having an experience. And so she chose to risk and eat pasta. And she had an outcome of a tummy ache. And that's really unfortunate. So I can have compassion for her, and I can let her know that I will stand by if she needs anything. I can get her some toilet paper or a throw-up bowl. And she's responsible for all of that.
In conclusion, here at Connexions, we teach principles of truth. Principles of truth is what gives us stability. It's like gravity. It gives us stability every day. What would we
So Hillary's asking, your trauma is your fault. Is that the thesis here? I think your response to the trauma is your choice or your fault. So I think from what I'm understanding, if something bad happens to you, depending on the circumstances, it might be your fault, but how you respond to it is definitely your fault. If you decided to put yourself in an unsafe situation, like what's the classic essay response? Oh, it's the way you dressed. Well, Hillary, you dressed a certain way, so it's your fault.
do without
It's not
gravity?
the truth.
The floor would shift out from underneath their feet. What you are experiencing right now in your life as you are experiencing chaos,
Yeah, this doesn't make sense.
Tumultuous environment is a lack of principles. When you choose to abandon principles, you have unsteadiness, and that is distortion. That is what our next video is going to be. I hope you subscribe and click the notification bell so you get it as soon as it comes out. Make sure you follow us over on Facebook. And
blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Rosie Posey says, I get it. They're settling up a defense against the charges. He's responding in his true, but that doesn't make it the truth. Watch this video to learn more. I'm just thinking of what's it called? The Discovery. So when the lawyers of the state, I'm assuming it's the state, will have to like go and gather all the evidence. All of these lawyers having to sit through hours and hours of this video content to try and build the defense for their case. Just wild. I feel like, so We Sweet Goth is asking, how the heck did people follow these two? I'm struggling with just this one. So I think that it's kind of important to assess it from the perspective of like any of the content really that I share on my channel. And it all kind of ties back to this idea of like targeting vulnerable people who are not in a position to make, for lack of a better term, like fully well thought out or rational decisions, or to have the wherewithal to analyze, I guess, from like a neutral perspective. I feel like a lot of the people that watch my content come from a place of like having the ability to think critically, to ask questions, and to really analyze what's going on. Whereas a lot of creators like these two that target vulnerable people are doing it specifically towards like people who won't be in a position to think critically or to ask questions or to do their due diligence. They're going to watch a video like this. They're going to be in a position that's particularly vulnerable and think like, wow, that actually made a lot of sense. And now I feel better about whatever challenge I'm facing. Maybe they have the answer that I need. But to me, it just sounds like word salad. Yeah, well, this Facebook page only has like 3,000. Oh God. 3,000 followers. But I think, yeah, they're I don't know about their YouTube channel. I know the 8 Passengers YouTube had like 2 million subs, but again, I don't know a whole lot about what's going on here. This was just requested, so I thought I would look at some of the content. So feel free to correct me in the comments. Yeah, that's how I feel too. I'm like watching this now. I'm like, this is just word salad. Doesn't make any sense. But there has to be people out there that are like, yeah, especially like very conservative people, I would assume. I don't know what true is either. What is true? Will we ever find out? I don't think so. I think even if we watched these videos, we still wouldn't know what true is or the truth. Yeah, I agree. If they are in the same religious environment, I think they use words and catch terms that make sense. And they can put their own definitions to like particular terms that they've heard over and over again to suit their narrative, to create their own true, if you will. Okay. I think it would be interesting to read this like short little Reddit thread that I found. And then we might leave it at that for today, or we can go through the Instagram a little bit if we're interested. You can let me know in the chat, but for now I will share the Reddit page that I found. So this is interesting because it's actually from 2022. So before any of the stuff that has happened went down, this was posted. So this is from the 8 Passenger Snark, and it was posted a year ago. So it said Friday, June 10th, 2022. So I used to be in the Connexions cult, it says. I was a previous avid watcher of the Franke family's 8 Passenger YouTube family vlogging channel for the longest time. Hell, I even bought the cookbook. But the cookbook was worth it, honestly, because of Grandma Griffith's recipes being so great. Anyways, I kind of looked up to Chad for a while. In some vlog, he listened to Jodi Doodle's podcast. I eventually did too. I believed in the spewing batshit she was saying. Mind you, I was pretty young and it was pre-pandemic. As Mormon YouTube family channels being in the center of my youth, I kind of became Mormon for a time period. After I deconstructed Mormonism and proved to myself it was a cult, I dissected the family channels. Then came 2020 or 2021, and Ruby was getting called out for being abusive. The controversy filled my TikTok For You page, completely shifting my ideals. Here I stand today, firmly against Ruby Doo's parenting styles and can see the present abuse in the household. About 4 or so months ago, I joined the said Facebook group of Jodi and Ruby. I spewed out ridiculous questions, and it was fun seeing them waste their time. After searching the connections on Reddit, I found this group and finally had a firm stance and really like it here. So then somebody said, that's unreal. You fell into that trap and it changed your religion based on your YouTube vlogs. Welcome back to reality. This is tremendous growth to go through on your own. It's not easy standing yourself from a cult. Look at what our country is going through. Do you actually believe in the connections? Someone responded, I used to. Glad you are here and no longer there. Are you able to give some insight into their principles? They're always referencing them, but I've never seen a definition. Is there some kind of master document they hand out explaining it to their followers? I honestly forgot what that means, but I have this document Jodi sent out before Ruby joined the mom group. What happens when I click on it? Okay, we can look at that after. Would you be interested? Oh, and then someone is asking if they want to come on for an interview. Glad you are coming back to ground, friend, and I really don't mean to be insensitive or rude when I say this. I am seriously frightened by your testimony here. As an older millennial who remembers when Facebook wasn't even serious and MySpace was a scene queen stomping ground, it is terrifying to me that your religious views and deeper values were affected by TikTok and YouTube. To me, I understand the insidious nature of these things, but it's unfathomable how different the perception of absolutism is in regards to video. What? I don't understand what this person is saying. This is what happens to most people. They see an influx of things on the internet and slowly gravitate towards believing it. It's so crazy how you can switch someone's opinion just by feeding them videos. I mean, isn't that how conspiracy theories exist? Like you just get pigeonholed into the same content that, like, what? Anyway, this wasn't as productive as I thought it was going to be. I thought this would be more interesting, but anyways, I digress. We will take a look at this handout though. Oh man, it's so many pages. Maybe this is for another day. No, we can scroll through it quickly. Anyway, let me catch up on the comments. The truth is that we need a mental fitness trainer for these mental gymnastics. That's exactly what I was thinking. This is rough. Okay, last piece, and then I don't know. You guys can let me know if you want me to look at the Instagram page, or we can save it for another day. Whatever. So this was the handout from the program, I think. So it says Joy in Life and Relationships, Your Mental Fitness Guide, and it was written by Jodi. Your guide to be mentally fit and relationally connected. And it's from 2020. So, okay. So this like reads a person's story and then it demonstrates the difference between truth and distortion. So truth is the choice to be honest, responsible, and humble. Truth is relating to things that are eternal, everlasting, concrete, and factual. Truths are empirical, impersonal, and knowable by a third party. Truth is objective and cannot be changed by a person's perceptions, opinions, or emotions. Distortion means distorting the truth. Distortion is the choice, conscious or unconscious, to not tell yourself the truth. Distortion is not honest, responsible, or humble. It invites you to believe lies about yourself, others, and God. Wow. Okay. Big yikes. Examples. We are vulnerable. Truth. We all have experiences. Truth. I am of infinite worth. Truth. Emotion is neither good nor bad, right nor wrong. Truth. Choice is available to all of us. Truth. Okay, this is where the gaslighting comes in. Our perceptions, thoughts, produce our emotions. Truth. When we choose in truth, the fruit is connection. Truth. There's no one else exactly like me. Truth. Truth eclipses and heals distortion. Truth. Your worry is constant and unchanging. Truth. I'm better than you. Distortion. You can't sing. Give up. Distortion. You did this to me. Distortion. Oh my God. Okay, this is so stupid. I'm always left out. You always made me feel this way. I'm stupid. You're too much. I have to. I have no choice. She'll be mad if I don't. What's wrong with me? Okay, so ridiculous. So then she defines what living in distortion is and then what living in truth is. Goes over honesty, responsibility, and humility, the power of choice. Let's discuss the principle of choice. All of us were born with the enabling power of choice. Choice is our ability to experience, perceive, feel, and act. Although all through those previous movements, choices are involved. Choice is intimate with our environments, our minds, our emotions, our souls as we make decisions how, when, why, what, where we will respond. Even the way this is written is giving me the same vibes as the video that we watched, because I am like, it doesn't make any sense as I read this. Choice always precedes outcomes, and outcomes always follow choice. Making choices means choosing outcomes, and choosing outcomes means creating new experiences to learn and grow from. Choice is empowering even when the choice creates discomfort and displeasure. Okay, again, this is where it kind of gets a little murky for me, because it's like, okay, knowing what we know now, I don't like this. Uncomfortable or hard outcomes are always opportunities to change your next choice. So is that why we condone, treating our children a particular way? Because we believe that it will empower them to make a better choice next time? Every choice goes down one of two paths, truth or distortion. Every outcome is either truth or distortion. Invite yourself to choose inside wisdom so your choices can create outcomes that will manifest connection and peace. So then they talk about inevitable and optional pain, the causes of pain, and just, oh my God, this is so incredibly toxic. Okay, I'm going to link this in the comments or in the live chat right now, and I'll put it in the description later. So if any of you feel so inclined to give this a read, I don't know why it's not letting me post this. I'll put it in the description of the video, I guess. You can do so, because it's a little bit toxic and I don't really feel like going through all that right now. Okay, I'm actually going to put this in the description right now before I forget. So if you really want to read it, refresh the page in about 30 seconds and it will be linked right under Julie Joe's YouTube videos. Okay, it's in there. So if anyone's interested, you know where to go. So much rambling. Exactly. That book was written the same way that the videos are conducted. So now it's all making sense. I really don't like this at all. Okay, let's quickly have a little look-a-loo at the Instagram, and then we'll call it a day. I hear a little someone outside my office, but last time I tried to let him in, he didn't want to come in. So let's see. Hi, Lindsay. Do you want to come in and say hello? Come on. He walked away. So Bubba was sleeping outside my office. I opened the door. He stands up, yawns, stretches, looks me in the eye, walks the other way. So he doesn't want to say hi today. That's okay. We believe in the power of choice in this household and letting our animals choose whether or not they want to be exploited on the internet for views. Okay, anyways, I digress. So this is the Instagram. It says, learn to successfully navigate life and relationships. Jodi and MS and life educator. So Masters of Science, blah, 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 blah. Rid your relationships of transactions, manipulation, and deceptive motives. Rid yourself of control. Most of us live in a place of control, distortion. Most of us never question ourselves about our motives. All our motives are either in truth or distortion. You are responsible to know where your motives are all day, every day. If you don't know what your motives are, you will have motives in distortion. Ooh, the comments are spicy. Let's read them. It was only a matter of time before you'd be exposed. I knew that from the moment I met you. Something was incredibly off. Something dark and haunting. You played a significant role in ruining the relationships of some of my loved ones with your distortion counseling. You brought a tremendous amount of pain to these families, including mine. I hope this situation teaches you the lessons you've been needing and allows you the time to get counseling yourself to find peace moving forward. No more pain for you or your clients. That's absolutely awful that that person had that experience. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, this is the piece I don't understand, because if we're talking about choices, the power of choice to lead you to the truth, if I'm not in control, how am I making choices? How is life happening to me? Or what do they say? Like, let life happen for you, not to you. And so how can I have an active role in how life is happening if I don't have control? That's what I want to know. My brain is just like broken, I think, from all of this mental gymnastics. So let's go maybe to the Instagram Reels and see what we've got. Blaming. I would love to hear. Oh, this is a series. Okay, let's go. Let's watch the series, assuming it's not very long.
Of deception. When you go into battle, to know what the tactic of the person on the opposition is. And so that is what we're going to do. We are literally opening up the book of tactics for the deceiver. So this is lying, this is manipulating, this is all of the distortions. You hear Jodi and I talk often about principles of truth. These are the principles of distortion.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I was just enjoying that.
And Jodi, take it away. She's mesmerized by what I'm saying.
Like, that's cool.
She's avoiding right now.
I was just enjoying, actually. I'm like, that was a good introduction.
Well, thank you. The tactics of deception. And today we are starting with our very first video around tactics of deception. Now, the reason I would want to use a tactic of deception is to avoid discomfort. I'm running away from something, mainly my fear. I want to cover my fear because I'm so uncomfortable around it. Mm-hmm. And we humans don't like to feel uncomfortable. And so instead of getting into the reality and facing it, I'm going to go into denial, or I'm going to go into deceiving myself. Avoidance is a tactic where I am deceiving me and I'm deceiving you. So avoidance, what is that? It is sidestepping, it is delaying, it's running away from, it's keeping my responsibility over here and then me over here. So I am avoiding my responsibility. Mm-hmm. I'm not being honest with myself. I am evading and I am procrastinating. And today we are starting with our very first video around tactics of deception. Black and white thinking uses omission because the person who's wanting to deceive you doesn't want you to see the whole picture. So I've seen this before, and I'm sure you have, where you tell a small child, hey, it's time for bed. Go get on your pajamas. go turn out your lights and hop into bed. And then the reaction comes with crying and I want a drink and come read me another bedtime story and I want to say my prayers again. And you hold a boundary and you say, no, you've had a drink. No, I've said prayers with you. No, you've had 3 stories already. No more attention. You get to bed. And now I'm turning out the light. Now here comes the black and white thinking. You're so mean. Either you read me a bedtime story,
Or that means
you're being mean. You're expecting too much of me. Think of how many teenagers today use this black and white thinking. Either you affirm me or I'm going to kill myself. That is a form of black and white thinking. It's a thinking trap for the teenager and for the parent.
and anyone else who doesn't understand truth.
I will make an emote, a word salad emote.
Yeah.
Because once you understand truth, then you'll hear the black and white thinking, you'll see and hear the distortion, and you'll confront the distortion. So black and white thinking goes after, you're horrible, you're terrible, this is disastrous, I can't get out of this, all's lost. It's just this all or nothing.
Black and white thinking uses omission because
Sorry, they just play on loop.
who's wanting to deceive you doesn't want.
Distortion is always easier. Go down the slide versus climb up the slide. Down the slide is easier.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to lie. It's easier to hide. It's easier to go into deception. It is. It's easier.
Ugh. Okay. Hold on. This is like, I thought that this was going to be like better organized, but what I'm realizing now is all of their reels are just like snippets from the long form content we watched on Facebook. So this is not good. I didn't like any of that. And then it looks like their posts are all just like more information, justification, why it's distortion, jumping to conclusions, comparison, compliance. Like, this is all so shamey, blamey. I really don't like it here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this was like a lot for today. They really are saying the quiet part out loud. And Hillary, I saw your comment about the bio. We were on the Connexions website and I didn't see that. Is that from her personal website? We only looked at the Connexions website. Let me see. Quick little googly Google. Oh, okay, wait. Or somebody else made a website. I'm so confused. Oh, okay, here we go. I got it. Okay. Somebody else. I was going to say, because the first thing says like child abuse allegations. I was like, I don't think if I was arrested, I would make that on my website. But this makes sense. Yeah. So when we were going through the Connexions offers page, one of their offers is $15,000 for corporate trainings. Yeah, I would agree with this statement. So Rosie is saying, I think they're trying to merge the two to make religiosity seem scientific. Yeah. It's just a very, again, messy sort of melding of coaching, of therapy, of science, of religion, all into this messy situation. So anyways, I don't know how productive this was today. I didn't really come prepared, but I hope we all had fun together discussing WTF, what's going on here. I don't even know. But I appreciate everyone who jumped on today. I am going to leave it here, I think, for today because my brain has stopped working. But again, thank you so much for being here. I go live every Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific. I have some content coming out later this week, next week. Lots on the go right now. So lots to come. Be sure to give the stream a thumbs up if you haven't already. If you're catching the replay, I appreciate you so much. And yeah, absolutely. I will agree with Harrison's statement here. Most corporate cultures are culty enough without trying to force feed connections to their employees. Really wouldn't want to work at a company that is paying for this kind of indoctrination training, but that's just my opinion. And hopefully everyone will recover from this stream because I'm pretty sure I lost a few brain cells. So gonna go work on that. Take care, comb your hair, and I'll catch you in the next one, okay? Let me figure out how to get out of here. Oh, I accidentally zoomed way in, so there's that. Again, I don't know how technology works, but I'll see you next time. Bye!